The moment you stop chasing, everything changes. Suddenly, people start noticing you, respecting your space, and valuing your presence. It's not magic, it's energy. When you stop making yourself available to everyone all the time, the entire dynamic shifts. Want to know why that happens? Stay with me. This truth might just change how you live your life. Have you ever felt drained, unappreciated, or like no one truly sees your worth, despite how much you give? It's exhausting, isn't it? The more you show up for everyone, the more invisible you become. But here's the twist. When you finally stop being so available, something powerful happens. People notice, they reflect, and they change. Let me explain why. What if I told you the reason they don't value you is because you're always there, always saying yes, always picking up the phone, always showing up, even when you're tired? It's not your kindness that's the problem, it's your availability. And the moment you pull back, everything, your relationships, your peace, your power, starts to shift. Let's talk about that. When you stop being available, everything changes. It's a simple shift, but one with profound consequences on your relationships, your career, your self-worth, and the very way you move through life. Imagine for a moment what it would mean to truly reclaim your time, your energy, and your boundaries. To no longer be the person who says yes to every request, who picks up every call, who stretches themselves thin to meet the expectations of others. This is not about selfishness or isolation. It's about rediscovering the power that comes from valuing yourself. At first, you might feel a surge of discomfort. After all, many of us are conditioned to be available. We're taught that being there for others, at all times, is a sign of kindness, reliability, and love. But there's a hidden cost. When you're always available to others, you can become unavailable to yourself. Your goals take a back seat, your passions gather dust, and your mental health can quietly erode under the weight of constant obligation. But once you make the decision to step back to be less available, you begin to notice subtle yet dramatic changes unfolding in your life. People who once took you for granted start to notice your absence. Suddenly, the endless stream of requests slows to a trickle. Instead of expecting you to drop everything at a moment's notice, others begin to respect your time and even value it more. It's a paradox. By being less available, you become more valued. This change is not just external, it's internal too. You start to reclaim parts of yourself that you'd given away, sometimes without even realizing it. You rediscover the joy of uninterrupted time. Time to think, to create, to rest, to dream. The pressure to please fades, replaced by a quiet sense of confidence. You realize that your worth is not determined by how much you do for others, but by who you are. In your relationships, boundaries are redrawn. The people who genuinely care about you will understand and even support your need for space. They will adjust, perhaps with some initial protest, but ultimately with respect. Those who are only attached to your availability will drift away, revealing the difference between true connection and mere convenience. It can be painful, but it's also liberating. You begin to surround yourself with people who value you for more than what you can give them. At work, the changes can be just as significant. When you stop being endlessly available to colleagues, clients, or supervisors, you may worry about being seen as less committed. But often, the opposite happens. By setting clear boundaries, you demonstrate self-respect and professionalism. You become known for your focus, your reliability, and your ability to prioritize what truly matters. Your time and attention become precious commodities, not resources to be squandered. Your mental health, too, begins to improve. The anxiety that comes from overcommitment starts to recede. You sleep better, you think more clearly, you feel a growing sense of peace, a sense that finally you are living life on your own terms. You are no longer at the mercy of every demand and distraction. This isn't to say that you become cold, or unkind, or uncaring. Quite the opposite. With healthier boundaries, you can be fully present for the people and projects that matter most. You give from a place of abundance, not exhaustion. Your relationships deepen, because they are chosen, not obligatory. Your work improves because you are focused, not frazzled. And your sense of self grows because you are finally making space for your own needs and dreams. Of course, learning to be less available takes practice. It means saying no, sometimes to people you care about. It means tolerating discomfort, both your own and others. It means trusting that the world won't fall apart if you step back, if you take a breath, if you prioritize yourself. And it means remembering that your time is your most valuable resource. Once spent, it can never be reclaimed. But with each boundary you set, you build a new reality for yourself. One in which your value is not measured by your availability, but by your authenticity. One in which you are free to pursue your passions, nurture your relationships, and care for your own well-being. One in which you can give your best to the world, because you have given yourself the space to thrive. As you continue on this journey, you'll notice other changes too. You become more intentional with your choices. You stop reacting to every request and start responding with thoughtfulness. You learn to distinguish between what's urgent and what's important. You become less distracted, more present, and more fulfilled. The quality of your life improves, not just in the big moments, but in the quiet, everyday ones. You may even inspire others to do the same, to set their own boundaries, to value their own time, to live with greater intention. In doing so, you help create a ripple effect, a culture in which people are respected not just for what they do, but for who they are. It all begins with a simple decision, to stop being available to everything and everyone, and to start being available to yourself. The world will adjust. The people who truly matter will understand. And you will find, perhaps to your surprise, that when you stop being available, everything really does change, for the better. So take a moment to reflect. Where have you been too available? What might change if you reclaim just a little more time, a little more space, a little more of yourself? The answer may surprise you. The power is in your hands. Make yourself a priority and watch as everything else falls into place. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is to step back, not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of self-respect. Because when you stop being constantly available, you teach the world how to value you. You remind yourself and everyone else that your time, your energy, your love, they're not infinite, they're sacred. And only those who truly care will rise to meet you where you deserve to be. So stop overgiving, stop explaining, stop chasing. You don't have to prove your worth to anyone. Just be still and let the right people choose to stay. If this message touched something deep within you, if it made you pause, reflect, or see yourself a little more clearly, then I invite you to stay. Subscribe to Raidespire and become part of a community that values healing, growth, and inner strength. In the comments below, share your thoughts. What did this video awaken in you? What change are you ready to make from this moment on? And if you know someone who always gives but rarely receives, someone who forgets their own worth, please share this video with them. It might be the gentle reminder they need to finally choose themselves.